Why don't we upgrade the memory on this? Ow! Hello guys, we are back here again at the Amstrad PCW for another wonderful episode of Retro Recipes Quick Bytes. Quick to make in one retro take. And these episodes allow me to put out a video when otherwise I wouldn't, just by spontaneously picking up the camera, turning on some very flashy effects that you saw there, and also turning on the computer in question to show you... Oh, it doesn't work because I haven't turned the power on. Another rookie mistake. Hold on. Hey Google, retro mode.
Welcome back to the 80s.
Okay, everything just came on, the lights, cameras, action, and now I can show you. This is the Gotek drive, and this guy is fantastic. Allows me to load any PCW game from this little memory card here, little USB stick. Problem is, it's got an LCD display here, and it don't bloody work. Something's gone wrong with that display screen there. That's what we're going to try and fix. So then I thought, while we're in there, why don't we upgrade the memory on this from 256 kilobytes, as you can see displayed there. This was the Amstrad personal computer word processor 8256. But we did upgrade back in the day to an 8512, which came with this second disk drive. Now I've added this after the fact. Come on, over to the workbench. Oh, this thing was heavy. Now, this thing hasn't had its top off or its back off since Ladyfractic had a go at it many moons ago when we installed that Gotek drive, or she helped install it, I should say. So let's see if we can undo. You see that little Phillips screw in there? There is one in there. Let's see if we can undo this and get back inside. Gosh, surprisingly long screw. I don't remember it being that long. I haven't had a screw that long since, or before Baby Fractic was born. Take out our... Ow! Sorry, pardon my French. That's really sharp. That's the little adapter that I use for the light pen, because the US and UK models of PCW had different ports. So this, I guess the Centronics style, or something like that, converts that into this wedge or edge connector style instead. Oh, really hurt. Oh, look at that. Don't you love it when it's that easy? Now, as always, don't try this unless you know what you're doing. These CRTs can be very high voltage and very dangerous. And there she is. Let's move you over here a bit, and you should be able to see down there is our Gotek assembly. Right in there. That's the panel. Actually, unplug the floppy. Get a good look at what we're doing. So that's the back side of the front panel that you see coming out of the machine, and that therefore must be the screen. Now, is there anything simple, like is it unplugged from here? Let's see. Oh, that does seem loose. It was unplugged, I think. Let's just plug it in to the mains here, and see if that actually lights up now. Okay, ready? Fingers crossed. So I think at this stage it would make sense to take the whole Gotek assembly out. Alright, let's really have a good look at this now. So I'm powering on the computer. Just pushing on the back of this, see if there's any loose connections on the screen. Whoop! It's because the keyboard isn't connected. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be anything obvious here. So let's take the whole screen out. It's just glued in there a little bit with some hot glue. Okay, there is our screen. Try again. Nothing. I mean, it would be most likely that the screen has failed instead of something on the board. Now, I'm used to working with through-hole components. I'm not really an expert at this kind of surface mount technology, so about the only thing that I would usually do would be just to check all the solder joints, reflow things on the board, and make sure everything looks good in that respect. So let's try that, and then we'll know. Okay, I'm going to power it on again. Nothing. It is dead, so I have no choice. I'm going to have to order a new board. And now, as if by magic, instead of making you wait 3 weeks, I waited instead. And I got everything in, but oh dear. Sincere apologies. This may be not the best way to package computer peripherals in a paper envelope, but there it is. I've got a selection of LED screens, and I think I'm going to go with the yellow variant because that's going to really match the amber or yellow or green display. Sorry, I am colorblind. Of the PCW, which I'm trying not to touch with my finger so it doesn't kill me. So let's remove the old one. Is, and in theory it's as simple as that, but I'm not sure I got the wires the right way around, so let me confirm everything by connecting it all up to the PCW. Okay, it's all plugged in, so now I've just got to hit the power button back here. There it is. Finally we got it. Oh no, it's upside down. There we go. That's beautiful. So before it was blue, and that yellow really suits the PCW, doesn't it? Disc A, and we can flick through the discs. A classic. Ejected. My little eject button there. Alright, let me put all this back together, and then we're going to look at the memory upgrade as well. Now, to help us out with the upgrade, I've found this fantastic website. It is retro.russellventura, not Russell Brand, russellventura.co.uk, and he goes into his love of the Amstrad PCW and goes on to the upgrades here. And you can see, I didn't realise he's done the exact same upgrade here with the Gotek drive. But here are the little RAM chips, all standing in double file ready to go into battle, and he explains it includes 8 RAM modules. That's what I got. Simply set up the motherboard dip switches to B and D up, A and C down. So that's what we need to do, and I think it's all just in here. So making sure the power's off, of course, as always. Let's unplug the main it's very stiff main plug from the motherboard. This hasn't probably come out since 1985, 6. There it is. See that? Chunky. And then we've got a little ground connection here, ground point. That screwdriver always works better when I turn this light on for some reason. It's got to be screwed in somewhere, hasn't it? No, it's just sitting there loose. Amazing. So it gets screwed in the back when you put the lid back on. That is bizarre, but cool. Guessing those are serial port connections. Okay. Yes. Believe it or not, that is the computer. The rest of the circuitry over there is all the TV and power. But that's the computer. Gosh. And I've never looked inside one of these. Usually I, unplug and tear everything apart just to gain an understanding of how it works. But this one passed me by, so I'm learning along with you here. Alright, shall we undress it? What do you think? No, we shan't, because there's 4 more screws here. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Unscrew all these as well. Actually wasn't that hard, was it? Let's face it. And you know, my father always told me, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. So there you go. That one's for you, Dad. Dad, of course, who bought the Amstrad PCW in the first place for his home office, and that I played with in the evenings. Beautiful. Wow. Okay. So somewhere should be our Zilog Z80. There it is. So that's the CPU. That's the thing that all the games run through, all the magic runs through there. And then some custom chips. But there are RAM chips. So get our new ones. Now, I'm not wearing a... That's nice, look. Thank you, Hannah. Nice business card. I've got to get one like that. Wow. Anyway, moving on. Here are the RAM chips. I'm not grounded, but I am grounding myself at regular occasions by touching something that is grounded. So I'm not building up static in my body. It should have very nicely labelled on the bottom side, pin 1. You can see that because the little divot on both the chip and the dip socket, chip dippers, is facing downwards. So that means, yeah, these are all going in just as they are on this polystyrene. How did you know, Hannah? Very, very clever. Speaking of clever ladies, Russell Ventura, who made that website that I just showed you, he's not a clever lady, but his wife, Lisa Ventura, certainly is. She was awarded an OBE by King Charles at the end of 2023, and I'm proud to say they are both channel patrons of Retro Recipes, so we have almost royalty among our ranks. And if it wasn't for our Patreons and a certain company that makes devices like this called PCBWay, we would, as a channel, just not be around anymore. The only way we're able to put out videos almost every single week is with that kind of support behind us. So if you do want some PCBs for your next project, perhaps a Gotek floppy drive controller, or perhaps some other kind of upgrade that you've been looking into, I can't recommend enough PCBWay. Great PCBs starting at $5, because as we all know, PCW stands for Personal Computer Word Processor, if I can get this chip in without bending it. PCW, Personal Computer Word Processor, so as we all know, PCB must stand for Personal Computer Bird Processor. Caw-caw! Doesn't it? Anyway, enough rabbiting on, let's just get these in. I think they're all in, guys. This Amstrad 8256 had not only a Gotek upgrade, a new LCD, OLED actually, panel, and I put a high density floppy disk double-sided drive in drive B, which is the real floppy drive in this machine. But now it's also not an 8256, it's now an 8512. Fantastic. So where are these dip switches? They are here. A, B, C, D, B, D up, A, C down. There we go. That should tell the board to look in the correct place for that memory. Alright, I'm going to reassemble everything, and you are going to just wait here, and then we're going to test it out. See you in a minute. Alright, moment of truth, let's power it on. Yes, still works. Alright, everything seems to be loading. It's loading CPM. Now let me take you in there for a closer look at the disk. So there's our beautiful yellow OLED display. Looks really great, doesn't it? But that's the disk drive. What about our memory? Well, this used to say 100 and something. So now it's saying 368K in drive M, which is the RAM drive basically. So that means just over 100K is taken up by CP/M plus itself, the operating system, which is fair enough, but it does indicate that we have a 512 kilobytes of RAM actually inside the machine. So what else to do with this? Well, let me demonstrate how this works, in case you were wondering. Basically, as soon as it turns on, you go up through or down through the disks here. So I've got all these different options. So if I wanted pawn, for example, the pawn. Oh, no, that's failing to load because I think you go into CP/M first and then insert the disk. So let's see, we'll go into something I've never tried, Dymos. And this to me is as nostalgic as the Spectrum loading stripes are the Speccy owners. And of course all kind of owned by Amstrad in the end. Basic Dymos. It's fun, isn't it, going into something you have no idea what it's going to be. Is it to do with the Doom? Is it a 3D dungeon scroller? Oh, Mallard Basic. Dymos. Only on the Amstrad 8512. Oh, that's cool. By Jorge Perez Barrero. 1988, so quite recently then. What is this? Now it is loading the game in BASIC, hence a very slow screen draw, but let's see what we actually have to do. Alright. Oh, okay. Interesting. Dymos, there you go. But I thought we should show off our new capabilities with something a bit more impressive. So in the back here, I have plugged in the Electric Studio light pen. You might remember me repairing this, replacing one of the timing chips inside the box there many years ago, probably 4 or 5 at least. We've got the disk key here. Let's plug it in and load it up. So firstly, we have to switch to drive B. And then we're going to load art. Let's see if it works. Yes, it does seem to. Select function with pen and press spacebar. So let's go with draw. And let's try the good old airbrush. Press spacebar to paint. Now it is slightly misaligned, isn't it? And that was a similar problem I had last time. So it could be another chip has failed, but it's kind of usable. So let's just see what we can draw here. Oh yeah, the skill, the talent. And that process is really having trouble keeping up here. It's meant to be a circle. Now you can see why when you guys ask if there's nothing I can't do when I release a new song or something, you can see why I don't show much of my art. But there it is, the Amstrad, upgraded OLED, upgraded RAM, and just as bad as ever, artwork by me. Well, that's the end of the video, I think. Time to put a cap on the video and on the light pen. And as always, just say thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and support below. And cheerio.